Hi, I am Lindsay, and today I'm going to show you what I think is the easiest and best way to apply your Jamberry nail wraps. I am going to be using the official method that is shown on the back of your sheet of Jamberry wraps, but I will be giving you some tips along the way to make it a quick, easy, flawless process. The first thing that you want to do when you start is make sure that your hands are clean and dry, and that you've washed them with soap so that you remove all the oils from the tops of your nails. And then the next thing you want to do is make sure that you prep them. Prep is a majorly important step that doesn't have to take very long but makes a huge difference in the wear of your nail wraps. It's the difference between whether they'll stay on for a week or whether they'll stay on for 2 weeks or even longer. So this is a cotton pad that I've put alcohol on, and I'm going to use it just to wipe down the top of my nails, and what this does is it removes any of the excess oils that are on the tops of your nails. So it dries them out so that the adhesive will stick properly to the tops of your nails. The next thing you want to do is take a cuticle pusher, and you're going to make sure you push back all of the skin so that you have a nice nail surface for your nail wraps to adhere to. You don't want the nail wraps to be on skin at all, or on cuticle, because if they are, then it's not going to stick as well. That's where you'll get problems where if you run your fingers through your hair, it might get stuck on the back, and that's usually because you have some cuticle that your nail wrap is sticking to, or it's stuck on some of the skin in the back. Okay? So once I've done that, then my nails are ready to apply. I'm going to be putting on Glam today. You see that there? I already know which nail wraps fit the size of my nail, but if you are just sizing them for the first time, then all you have to do is take them and fold it over the top of your nail and figure out which one it's going to fit. You want to make sure that it's small enough that it will not hit the skin on either side of the nail, but you want to make it, large enough that it will cover most of the nail. It is better to have it a little too small than too big, because if it's too small, most people are not going to notice when they're just looking at your hands like this that there's any nails showing on the side, and it's going to look a lot more finished and polished if you do it that way. So I know that the second nail wrap is the one that works for my pinky nail, and I'm going to start from my pinky nail and work over this direction, because that way I can use my thumb and index finger to help, and I won't have to worry about nail wraps getting in the way while I'm applying. So I like to use my orange stick to peel up the wrap a little bit, and I love to save the middle parts of the wraps because I use them for my small toes, and it just gives me a lot more out of a sheet. I can easily get 2 manicures and 2 pedicures out of every sheet, plus a little bit left over. So I'm going to use my scissors once I've lifted that up to trim my wrap, and so here I have it on my orange stick. Okay, the amount that I need. And I usually like to use my tweezers, but if you only touch the flat part at the top and don't put your fingers on the part that's going to be on your nail, then you can touch the end of it with your fingers and it shouldn't be a problem. So here's my nail wrap. It's ready to go onto my nail. I've done all of the prep. And you want to heat it first. You really only need to heat it for 5 seconds or maybe a tad bit more if it's just warming up. You'll see it start to curl just a little bit in the heat, and you know that it's done when that happens. Okay? So I'm going to take my nail wrap and just hold my finger out. I'm going to place it as far back on my fingernail as I can without going onto any skin. And then I'm going to press it. The great way to avoid any wrinkles when you're first putting it on, swipe down the middle. You swipe down the middle of your nail and then rock back and forth. Anyone who has really curvy nails, either curvy this way or this way, is going to find that this method is really going to help get the wrinkles out. So swipe down the middle and then rock back and forth. Okay, I like to heat it again just to give it a little extra seal, and then rub it with my fingers a little bit more. And then as a final way to make sure that it seals the tips, take the excess nail wrap that you have and just kind of pull it a little bit over the top of your nail. This has been a lifesaver in sealing my tips. And then I just press it over and it's done. Well, not completely, we have to file, but it's on. Okay? So that's the first thing that you're going to do. I like to wait until I do the rest of my nails to file because it works better and stays on better if you let it cool down sufficiently first. So I'm going to trim off a lot of the excess so I just have a tiny bit left, and then I'm going to move on to my next nail. I'm going to do one more to show you a little trick for trimming down to size, and then that'll be it. Then I'll show you filing. Okay, I do not have a good nail wrap that fits my middle finger very well. So I have to trim my nail wrap down so that it fits appropriately. So I'm going to get the one that I use that's closest, and then I'm going to turn it around like I'm getting ready to put it on, but instead of putting it on, I'm going to start by trimming the side. Okay? I know how much I need to trim down on my nail wrap, but for those of you who don't, here's a little trick that you can use. If you've got some Scotch tape at home, take a little tape off, put it on top of your nail, so that's over the top, and then take a pen, and you're going to trace around the outside of your nail. Okay, so that's your pattern. You're going to take the tape off the top of your fingernail, and then you have a nice little pattern that you can stick on your sheet of nail wraps to cut the exact size that you need. But I already know about how much I need to cut because I've been doing this for a little while. So I'm just going to trim that amount off. And then I will be ready to go. Okay, I'm going to grab the flat side, heat my wrap, hold my finger out, press it on, swipe down the middle, turn side to side. Heat it again for good measure. Pull on the tip and press it down. I'm going to cut off the tip. And now, since I've already done 3, I'm going to go back and show you filing. I love to use a glass file because it gives a nice smooth finish. If you're not used to glass files, they can be a little bit more difficult to work with. So you can use a regular file that has a coarser grit, but if I use that, then I like to finish off with a buffer block on the end or a smoother file just to make sure the edges are nice and smooth. When I use a glass file, I like to turn it in just a little bit so it's at an angle, because if I file straight down, then the edge is so fine, it's right by the edge, I feel like my tips lift a little bit. So I like to curve it in. So you just file straight down, don't go up, because you're going to lift your wraps up a little bit if you do that. So just straight down. I just hold my finger on with my other finger. Okay, and you'll see the tips start to come off a little bit as you start to file. And then here it comes. So there it is. Okay. So then there is my finished finger. And then I would just file the rest the same way. If I want to use a coarser file, I can do that. Just file straight down just like you do with the glass file. This goes a little bit faster than the glass file. Get the edges off there. And then it starts to come off. And there it is. So there's my finished ring finger. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video and you see that applying your nail wraps can be quick and easy, and I hope you have a great day.